Hello, this is John,
Evelyn.
and here we are doing our 1 year Bible reflections on Matthew. We're checking out today Matthew chapter 10, 1 through 23. This passage is pretty intense. Be honest, Jesus is sending out his disciples. He's been doing some pretty radical things. First thing is he gives his disciples the authority that he's been demonstrating and living out of. Up to this, the disciples have just been watching. It's kind of show and tell. It's a healthy learning cycle, actually. You first show people what you want them to do, demonstrate it, and then invite them into it.
Yeah.
So how do you? There's this expectation that this is not going to be a simple, gentle reception. He says that I'm sending you like sheep among wolves. I generally like when people like me, and I'm pretty surprised when people don't. I don't know. What do you see in this passage?
Well, Jesus chose his disciples and he gave them authority, but he also gave them strict, not rules, but I guess reasons or ways of being and how to be and what to be and like what to take or what not to take, and he definitely told them not to take any material items, but he said don't hesitate to accept hospitality because those who work deserve to be fed. So
yeah, he definitely wanted this relationship for the disciples to experience what it meant to be dependent on God rather than on their own possessions or their own abilities to hold their things together. He really wanted them to experience the full dependence of a life just based on what the Spirit of God would guide them into and what living in the kingdom meant. And in fact, it says, give freely as you have received. We live in a take world. Who gives freely?
Well, it's kind of also that thing you say we're blessed to be a blessing, and how we bless other people reflects, and then they bless other people, and then it kind of circles around, and that's kind of like what Jesus wants us to learn.
I'm being quoted. Me. She's quoting me. It is biblical that we're blessed to be a blessing. And not everybody receives it as a blessing, though. It says later on that we need to be this balance of shrewd and understanding that things aren't always going to be easy, and yet harmless in the sense that we're not here to damage anyone. And ultimately, we're given the gift of being able to give the testimony about who Jesus is. There's a lot of hatred and hurt and betrayal in the world. And it's never resolved by more hate, by more hurt, or by more betrayal. You see in every kung fu movie, Japanese movie, where the master gets killed and then the trainee comes up and he's going to learn how to revenge and get the revenge on it for his master. And then he goes and he conquers and he kills, but then he's now killed somebody else's master. And then the revenge goes over and over again. This is so radically different. A pattern of love and willingness to suffer for the sake of love.
Mm-hmm.
Any last thoughts that you had about the passage that stood out to you?
Well, he does say, like, if you're a believer, if you follow him, all the nations will hate you because you're my followers, but everyone who endures to the end will be saved. And just kind of noting, like, you come across people and they talk about God, they don't love God, or, but I don't think we should give up on people regardless of, like, circumstances that they're in, or they're God haters, or they don't like you because you're a Christian. And you're always going to have that hate thing, but I mean, I definitely never loved God before, and I think he always followed me, and now I'm in love with Jesus. So there's hope.
Yeah. And there's this thing that really happens. I mean, Martin Luther King said, love is the only power on earth that can turn an enemy into a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Boy. And like Gandhi said, if we all insist on the law, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, the cycle of revenge, in the end of the day, we'll all be blind and we'll all be toothless. So, there's a lot of wisdom in what you're saying. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, reading the Your Bible, and thank you, Evelyn, for stepping in. I know this is a challenge for all of us. It's a challenge for me, but I've been doing this for a few days.
I haven't.
But you jumped in with me. I respect that and really appreciate your willingness to try and jump in with me. Well, take care. God bless.
You too.
Have a good day. Have a great life. Keep it up. See what happens.